Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Future Friday, we're going to talk about failure of modern education system. So let's dive deep into it. So let's understand the word modern first. Now, whatever we take for granted, as in like the modern thing, as in like the electricity, plumbing, toilet, hot water showers, things of that nature, vaccines and all that jazz, they are horrifyingly new. Like if we go into layers, right? Biology would be the slowest layer. I'm not going geological layer, like we do not even exist in that timeline yet. But in terms of basically biological layer, human civilization on a DNA level, like what makes us human, that puppy is old. Like all the changes that we are doing to it right now, it's like if this is how long it is, it's like some femto nanometer is here. That is what we call classify as modern. So modern from a DNA point of view, it's way too what you call quick, rapid. It's almost like you are awake for 24 hours and somebody is calling everything modern, which is barely 1 femtosecond old. Not even joking, that would be the proportion. So fundamentally, and what does that mean? That simply means we are changing way too fast without even knowing or having a steering control. And it is too fast for what, right? That's okay, we are fast, but for what? Well, our mind cannot keep up with this many changes. Our bodies cannot, and culture, hell no. Culture is like a longer thing, so to say. Culture is like a bit slower moving, but it takes its sweet time to adapt. And like I'll give you a simple context. The idea of waiting till 18 for and marriage and all that, yeah, that is recent. Like how recent? It is horrifyingly recent. Like it will scare you guys if I actually told you how recent that is. And let me be very clear, it's true for whole planet. Not like, oh, India used to have child marriage. No, India used to have a very simple system, arranged marriage. That's why it was known that, this 14-year-old boy would be married this 12-year-old girl. It was a very, basically two kids, done. Now, here's the deal. What do we call kids is different what it is right now, because schools were not a thing. And again, every place, be it Europe, be it India, it had a very simple system. You work in a farm, the end. The end. There is nothing more than that. So, or basically whatever your father was. Your father could be, a stonemason. Your kid would learn that. That's how it was for thousands of years. Like that was so long, like in terms of duration, in so many generations, it became a part of our culture. What we have right now, it's like, what happened? Like that's how rapid it is. So this idea of 18 was not there. And again, in India, this was also not there, where you have a very young girl marrying a very old guy. That was not Indian standard. They're like, okay, how the heck then it got involved? First, thanks Britisher, because they had way too much famine in India, way too much. Like I used to think Bengal famine was bad, which was bad, but they had many more famines. And again, once you destroy that much food supply, consequence in social structure would be felt. And again, similar thing happened in other ways. And this, again, this is not from India, but you get the point. So, and again, let that be very clear. This was similar story for Europeans for very recently. And again, you were like, okay, what about London and all that? Yeah, dude, don't look at rich people. Go in the remote area and it's like, yep, that's the same thing. Most places, like most of the planet, you only have to go to 5 generation back, each generation being 30 years, you will reach this point. Most of, because here's the deal, people did not live long enough for finding yourself. We did not live long enough. Like 30, 35, you about to wrap things up, my man. Like you are about to wrap things up. 50, you will be wrapped up. So that's the whole point. Like we did not have the luxury. And again, it's like, oh, they were so cruel. Like no, they had to. Like right now, the same story happening in certain places in Africa, where it was like, oh, why the women have like 8 kids? Like they have to. It's like, well, why? Well, if they didn't, 4 of them would be poofed. Now imagine you only had 2 kids. Yeah, all of them did. Like death was that powerful. It took us way to, and again, let that be clear, from a DNA's point of view, like this whole vaccine and all that, it has not even registered in DNA. It's like, bro, like what the hell? So fundamentally speaking, like death was way too powerful, life was way too short. We did not have luxuries that we are experiencing right now. And everything is so goddamn quick. And it's like, it's not even like, okay, we started to live like, 50 years, then for thousands of years, we only lived 60 years. No. We went from 50 to literally 120, and all of that in 1 century. So that is way too fast. So, and again, modern idea of education itself, it starts a basically early industrial revolution to make basically competent workers, and to basically that was the idea, to make competent worker. But there were also some people who had like, hey, what if we can make this better, that better? Democracy was the hype thing that point in time, so people did wanted to use it good. And underlying tone was that. But again, the idea was very simple back in those days. It is like, you're gonna have that school system, and those who are smart, they're gonna, like, swim up to the top, and they're gonna go to university. And again, that's how things started. And this idea is recent. How recent? Like, if I give you the idea of India's oldest working temple, this puppy is 10,000 years old. And yes, this is older than pyramids. And yes, this is normal for India. Yes, you do not know about this. It's a normal thing. Like, there are houses in China, the similar sort of age. It's like, bruh, duh. So that's why I said, like, when you're comparing from a civilization point of view, all this hassle that has happened, it's like just a blink. That's how quick it is. So fundamentally, and what we call a modern for our sake, like for you and me who are born in recent time, yeah, that started in World War II. Basically, the moment World War II ended, as in September 1945, things changed. Why things changed? Well, World War turbocharged technology. Way too many technology changes way too quickly. And benefit of that is vaccines became deployable. Vaccines were a thing. It's just that after this, polio vaccine was created. And again, if you had polio vaccine, let's say let's just say in World War I, you would not have even dream of transporting that vaccine worldwide to eradicate polio from the planet. It would not have been imaginable. After World War II, that's like minor inconvenience. Again, that's what war does. So that's the whole point. Let that be very clear. This whole idea of modern is like, bruh, it's recent. And again, I do have to give credit to the fact of Game of Thrones. They did not shy away from this part. Way too many, basically, history books, way too many, old TV shows and all that. They removed this part. Like, no, they were not that old. Like, lifespan was not that long. It's like this. Think about it. It's like, if only, most likely, you're only going to live 35 and you're going to wait till 18. Yeah, you did. So fundamentally, you did. And again, you have to have many kids. Only then some will die. They do not show this part. I have to say that Game of Thrones did show that. Like, the children simply meant before puberty. After puberty, you find you are young. And old simply meant 50 years. So this was the reality. Like, let that be very clear. What we call modern is way too quickly, way too recently. Heck, way too recently. So let's understand why our education system is not helping the situation as we wanted. Well, the biggest fault I have noticed is that most of the people, most of the children are not inherently understanding the distinction between these two puppies, science versus technology. And yes, they are two different things. That's why my name is Science to Technology. There is a very specific reason for that. So let that be very clear. Science is not man-made. I have no idea why so many movie director orgasms to this, where it's like, science can't explain this. No. Humans haven't understood it yet. Science is not limited by us. Science is discovered, not made. Einstein did not made E equal to mc square. He found it in the laws of the universe. By the way, it's not religion. This is the world's religious map. And again, I'm only talking about 5 major religion. And yes, there are 22 thousands of smaller one. But again, even Judaism base barely 0.2% of the planet's population. Those things will be 0.0000 some small number. So you have Judaism smallest, Buddhism 7%, Hinduism 15%, Islam that is like 23%, Christianity 31%. And again, this is recent, and again, more or less this exact proportion will remain for some time. Islam is growing exponentially, but other than that, that's it. But again, why you have so many? Well, again, it's man-made. Religion is man-made. Science is not. What does that mean? That simply means it's absolute and universal. Meaning, if somebody in USA figures out E equal to mc square, they're gonna find the exact same thing, E equal to mc square. If somebody in India finds it out, it will be exact same thing, E equal to mc square. It will be absolute and universal. What does that mean? That simply means time has no effect on it. Meaning, before planet Earth was created, E equal to mc square was still E equal to mc square. After the sun has went kaput, it still would be equal to mc square. Let this be very clear. It was, it is, it will be. So when I say hydrogen does not have enough energy compared to hydrocarbon because it's in the periodic table, it's on a scientific level, meaning it will not change no matter what you do. Let that be very, very clear. Like, what is the highest energy you can get out of it? It's equal to mc square. What does that mean? What is the highest energy boom we can do? It's antimatter boom. Matter and antimatter making love, it goes kaboom. So that's the highest we can achieve. And again, these things are known. So let that be clear. Never ever confuse these things. I really want to blow up every director who starts to have the, oh, it's beyond science. It's like, ooh, no. It's beyond you because you are dumb. So fundamentally, science is discovered. Like if you find a mountain and you name it, does not mean the mountain was not there before you were born. So fundamentally, and what is engineering then? Okay, that's the science. Cool, cool. Scientists are like detectives. They are going into the laws of the universe, laws of the nature, figuring out how things relate to each other. What is the daddy of that? They're figuring it out. Cool, awesome. So what is engineering? Engineering is taking that knowledge. Scientist is the one that figures out the knowledge, taking that knowledge and utilizing it. Basically, utilization of known laws of reality. Basically, oh, if you're gonna do this, hot energy will go to the cooler part to equalize. That's a law. Scientists figured it out. Law. Engineers are like, okay, I can build an engine from that. Be it Stirling engine, be it turbine engine, be it jet engine, be it this or that. So engineering is utilizing of those laws to solve our problems. Now, whatever problem, that's up to you. You will be like, hey, like for example, if you have seen cable stay bridges, the cables are thick, puppy. Now here's the deal. Somebody figured out the laws of nature that there will be vortex shading. If you have a lot of gas flowing through it, fluid dynamics, aerodynamics, blah, 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 and you have a cylinder, is going to have vortex shading. Somebody's like, hey, that's going to be a bad puppy. So they started to put spiral around the core, so to say, and benefit of that, vortex shading became manageable. You must see that in all the bridges around you. So fundamentally, that's the whole point. That's the engineering. You had science, engineering is human made, basically taking the laws of science and utilizing it. And technology is the output. Basically, what does engineer make is the technology. B is the final output of correct engineering. You cannot make wrong engineering because it will not work. If you made plane too heavy and calculations were off, it will not fly. So fundamentally, technology will only work if engineering is correct. Engineering will only work if science is correct, underneath science, so to say. So products, tool, medications, all of those things are the output. That's why my channel, science to technology. Basically, science leads to technology and it comes through engineering, so to say. And science has no limits. Flat out. Way too many people orgasm, but science has limit. No. Religion has limits. Science has no limit. And that's why we call this idea of like God of gaps. Basically, science will go to like, Big Bang and like, this is what universe is telling us. This is what our observation is telling us. And we're like, okay, now religion can say, oh, what's before that? It's like, God of the gaps. Like we reach this limitation and limitation is in our understanding. You'll put a religion there. It's like wherever we reach, put there. That's what we call God of gaps. That's why there is no valid point of it. And most people, even devout scientists, they have learned that. It's like you put religion in a point of ethics. You put them in a point of faith. You do not put them in a point of science because science is beyond that. We learned that, like beyond that. So fundamentally, and here's the deal. Our limitation in this, like how little we understand, is not an issue. Like, wait, why is that? Well, because science works on prediction, meaning you create a formula that if you give me the data point of like mass, velocity and drag, I will figure out the trajectory. Cool, that science says that. Engineer builds a machine for that and they test it and it's like, and figure it out. And then technology comes out of artillery shell. Then we go boom, boom, and it works. How the heck it works? Because everything in that whole supply chain was correct. And again, more data can be added to it. Of course, it can be added. All it will do is increase the precision. This is another aspect of it. Our understanding is like a picture of this world. Basically, this world exists. We have taken a snapshot of it. Boom. That's what it is. But here's the deal. It does not mean it's the complete picture or of highest resolution possible. So our resolution can go from 100% is there. We are capturing 10%. We are still useful. We still know what's what. 20%. Bit more clarity. I'm starting to get a feel for things. 50%, same thing. And that's why old science does not get what you call destroyed. It's not, oh, old was wrong. No, we figured out atoms were round. It still will be round 10,000 years from now. We can dive deeper into it, but atoms will remain round. So fundamentally, our camera changes. It's like we go from 2 megapixel photograph to 22 megapixel. So Newton can come out and it's like, yo, man, this is the mass and this is how things work. And again, it will work. How do we know? Because he will figure out what we call testable hypothesis. He's going to create basically prediction with margin of error. You cannot have just like, oh, this will return. No, that's religion BS. What you have to do is like, this will return in exactly 7 months from now. And if it happens exactly 7 months from now we are talking. So let that be very clear. That's the benefit of having not man-made. And again, it's testable. So As our camera improves, our precision basically becomes more clear. It does not discredit. For example, Newton's work does not get discredited by Einstein's general relativity. It just gets refined. It's like, hey, you're doing simple day-to-day life calculation, just do, Newtonian mathematics. And you're like, hey, no, I really want to do, like, figure out a probes that is going to Jupiter. It's like, yeah, we upgrade the resolution. Go to Newtonian math. Special relativity. And again, E equal to mc square, science. Boom a device, technology. Science to technology. Let that be very clear. Do not ever, and again, children should know this. That's how they can figure out like why something will work and something will not work. Like they should be able to figure out inherently what is doable and what is not doable. And it is never wrong, nor it will ever be wrong. Like we are so good with this, like people who really put some effort into it, we can figure out what elements would be discovered in the future just based on the what space is missing in the periodic table. And it worked. That's how good we are. Like heck, we have found planets based on the how gravitational is behaving. It's like, it would make sense if there was a Hydra planet. Oh, there's a Hydra planet there. So you would be shocked like how good, and that's why it's not man-made, man-discovered. Now, that's the fundamental that we must really clarify that for children, because again, it's a very recent thing. It's new to us also. And then we come to the temporal reality. Now, this is hard, which ironically, I have to say, almost all cultures have certain level of gravitas to this concept, where it's like time is the final judge, jury, and executioner. Like the end, there is nothing above time, simply because, well, time shift deletes everything, like flat out everything. Like gods, it's like, bruh, time from time's point of view is like, oh, this is like from time's point of view, gods are clothes a civilization is wearing. That's how quickly it changes from time's point of view. So time is the final judge, jury, and executioner. What does that mean? That simply means many things looks good at the moment. So for example, let's say you're Soviet Union and you're smoking and you're like, hey, wouldn't it be nice if we can just divert all the rivers and all that to farmland so we can farm cotton or do this and that. And mathematicians are screaming at you because again, mathematician works on prediction. Prediction is accurate. So they're like, yeah, we're going to do this. It's going to be awesome. We're going to print money. Short term, very awesome. Long term, you did. So this is a sea that used to be a sea. This satellite photo used to be there. It's like, you know what? This whole place was a freaking sea. Sorry, 1970s. They just shift deleted the whole damn thing. 1970s. Like we shift deleted a sea. It's because of like canal stupidity. And Indians are like, you know what? That's awesome. Let's copy paste that idea in India. And Chinese are like, let's copy paste that idea in China. And again, China is very proudful of the fact that practically speaking, no country ever shift deleted them. Like they did not have like a full-fledged invasion, like whole country. Like again, border regions are, but again, they are huge surface area wise. So they never had that like, complete shift delete. And they were very proud of the fact that they had unbroken history. This river never went kaput in their history. Never. Ever. Now history, 3000 years is long enough where your sun goes through its own cycle where it's expanding, contracting, going hotter and cooler. How the heck that did not? And again, rivers, especially some big rivers, they never dry out. That wasn't a thing until we humans figured out canals and dams. So fundamentally, and time taught us this was not a good idea. In short term, it felt good. Long term is like, yeah, we were wrong. And here's the ironic part where time does not flow backwards. That's the one absolute thing about time. It never goes backwards. It never rolls back. What does that mean? There is no control Z. You're like, okay, we messed it up. I'm genuinely shocked. How the heck our Indian bureaucrats is convincing government to like, hey, we're going to build a canals to transport water. I'm like, use pipes. At least some pipes, practically speaking, all the water will be transported from one to another. But if you have a canal, 50% would be just turned to vapor. And I'm being optimistic. Realistically, 100% would be turned into. And again, most of the rivers that we used to have is already shift deleted. So that's the whole point. Time teaches us the final, like basically, bruh, relax, I will decide. Like it's the funny thing of like, I'm seeing a lot of people who are not thinking in time domain as like, South Korean women, they are rising against patriarchy. They are like, 4B movement, like, this and that. I'm like, nah, it's just shift delete with extra steps. Like you will be removed by your own action. Like you should know that, right? Like you know that, like we teach you in school. So that's the whole point. What you think is right does not mean it will be right. Time is a vector that will define it. So time is the one thing. And again, if children are not learning this, that time changes our understanding, they will become blind. And worst, they'll become what you call static. They will not change. Basically, oh, we used to think this way. I used to think dams were good. That was awesome because again, that was taught to me in school. But as I grew older and started to read documentation, started to realize I'm running out of water, then I'm like, oh, that's why. Even though we have bonkers amount of rain, that's the whole thing. It's the same thing. Dam is good until time passes, and after that, drought. It's like dam is good until time passes, then drought. Ta-da! So same thing. And again, let that be very clear. Some people, no, not all dams. Again, depending how close you are to equator and how stupid the design was. And again, all dams have this issue because all the reservoir, yeah, they slowly start to fill up from the bottom with sediment. Yeah, and let's not even go into ecological sift delete that it causes. So fundamentally, with people without temporal understanding, they are very hard to grow. Basically, they're like, I did this, the end. They do not change because time is not taught to them. It's like from a childhood. It's like, what your father did, what his father did after that does not mean it will remain the same. Time is like, bruh, you gotta change, man. If you don't, bad things will happen. Again, for a simple example, tillage farming, basically where you go, that destroys the soil. We learned this. We studied this. We figured out that destroys the mycelium network underground. It's a really bad thing to do. All the country's government is like, no, farmers, please stop doing this. Do what we call zero tillage farming or low tillage farming, right? Try to be as non-destructive to soil. Everyone's like, no, our father did that and grandfather did that and now we are starving to death because we did that. Because time changed. So fundamentally, that's the whole thing. Children need to learn, and this has to be there in everything. It's like, you know what? Science does not change. Technology does. Engineering improves. And again, temporal vector is there. Many things you will think that is right now will become bad thing. And you have to be adaptable enough. It's like, whoa, this happened. Cool. Time will not roll backwards. Let me learn from it and let me recorrect. But again, it has to be taught. It has to be there in education. It has to be on a fundamental level. And people understand, oh, why people do not understand loan? When was the last time you actually had a subject in school where it's like temporal reality is a thing, compound interest is a thing? So this has to be there. And again, for many things, especially nowadays, because again, most of the bad decisions we have already made, and we really need to add that in school books where it's like, yo, we used to think this was a good idea, super bad idea. Like we used to think combustion, like going from wood coal to like actual coal was better. It's just like wood coal, like we are making charcoal and all that, those were better simply because those were carbon neutral. We are adding carbon dioxide and time changes things. Now we come to one another aspect, which is very recent and very necessary, is filters. Like what does that mean? That simply means whenever we are talking about humans in schools and education system, we are generally denigrating one of the most complex puppy on this planet, human. This puppy, it's complex AF, it's beyond complexity. And you might be like, okay, how can human decide that human is complex? That's a very good point, very fair point. You zoom out. And again, mathematics has always this answer. It's like, zoom the hell out. Okay, you zoom out from Earth. Who is the highest point? ISS, that has a person. Zoom out even further. What is the highest point now? Well, it's a 1.8 second away, that is moon, or 1.2. So what has there? Like human. That's the whole point of it. And again, if things go well, knock on wood, if humanity keeps growing, we will reach a point where even further than that, Mars would be there. So that's the whole point. We can keep leaving our biosphere. Basically, our biosphere was this exact spot of land in Africa. Now we are like, yeah, bro, we cool. We spread out everywhere. Heck, we are in Antarctica and Antarctica. We good. Heck, there are people right now in basically depths of ocean being bored because their job is to boom someone else if something happens. There are a lot of people, not one, lot of. Heck, there are at least 600 people that went through low Earth orbit, and let that be very clear, that will be dwarfed in next 10 years. It will like boom, boom, boom. Like USA have at least 3 to 4 space stations under construction parallelly, meaning one day they'll be like, yeah, we good, we got this. Like you can actually pick up a phone and book a space tourism, hopefully. So fundamentally, we are beyond complex, and our brain is a black magic box. Why is a black magic? We can't understand it because we are observing ourselves. So again, if you found any alien friend, it will be super awesome. We can understand their brain, they can understand our brain, we can share notes, things will make sense. but like it's a thing, can't zoom out. We have only one brain. We need more data. So brain is black magic to us. So fundamentally, and every school book, every general public discussion, because again, that's what we teach in school, it's very all good or all bad. And this is a really dumb idea of dumbing down humanity into something. It's like, they did this good things. That's how it should be. They did this good things. So people are like, okay, children, again, they're going to be annoying. They're going to ask us like, okay, why we are saying this good things? Because they did some bad things. What are those bad things? We'll talk about them when we go into that chapter. Or like, these days he was infamous for this thing or that thing. It's a very necessary step, because right now what we have is this black and white reality, and then that sets a very bad precedent, like a really, really bad idea. Because if you and I are complex as well, AF, then it's really, really harmful for you to assume that anyone else is not that. Like, it's a really bad. And again, if you do not filter your facts, basically, and again, filter simply meaning taking the good and rejecting the bad. It's like, I have no use of that bad data. It's like, not bad data, I would say, like a bad part of this. Like, if a scientist comes to me and scientist like, I did 50 of the mathematics, 10 of them were wrong, 40 were right. I'm like, I'm going to take the 40 right one. I'm like, yeah, those were trial. As simple as that. Those were trials. So filter the facts and control your reaction so your blood pressure does not explode. Fundamentally, like let's just say Newton, right? One of the smartest guy ever said, and again, flat out, given the things he did before he turned 30 years old, it's magnificent. There is no discussion about it. But here's the deal. For Indians, he invested money into South Sea. Yeah, it was a company, naughty company. Let's just put it that way. Google it at your own risk. So flat out, and we know this data has been verified. People were trying to hide it, but there's like, yeah, everybody who was anyone at that point in time had even mild amount of money. They were all doing this. So he was also doing it. And again, same goes with Einstein. Einstein, like, hey, Einstein, smart. And again, if you're looking from a family point of view, he's not good. And if you are like coming from a Chinese and Indian point of view, it's like, ooh, I will not say. So fundamental, but that's normal. Like if somebody comes to me like, Nikola Tesla had this amazing ideas. Yeah, he had many amazing ideas. Not every idea he had was amazing. That's normal. That's okay. Tesla turbine, not a good idea. People tried it, built it. He built it. It was like, people are still, it's like a magical technology that has been suppressed. No, it does not work. Like, we tried it. We've been there, done that. Bro, every engineering student does that. It's like, yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's like, oh, that's why it did not work. It's almost like professors let people go, like, go. Now you get it. And again, it's like, he wanted wireless transmission. It's like, no, he was wrong. How the heck I know? Here's the deal. That time, the concept, the law of inverse square law was not known. It was not sorted out that point in time. So again, same way he did not have all the vector that we have right now. Same happened with Nikola Tesla. He did not have all the data points. So he was right in many things, wrong in many things. Normal, human. Same goes with this, one wrong. I'm not going to tell what the hell he was doing before Operation Paperclip. So that's the reality of it. Fundamentally, like, you take the good, reject the bad, and if you do not, like, here's the, like, what if I don't? Well, you go mad, especially in social media, and you like, okay, you have power or control. No, all you have is blood pressure. It has no value, no utilization. And again, I have to say, in this regard, I would say most religion have the wisdom to, like, you know what, it's on you, how you are reacting to it. Almost all religion, I have to say. Fundamentally, like, don't waste your energy and life hating something. Like, for example, for me, it's super easy to say Elon Musk. Right now, he's on really, really bad spiral because I have no idea when was the last good idea he had, but he had really genuinely good ideas. 4 great ideas, and that made him billionaire. But right now, it's like, brah, come on, man. Your brain is firing empty, man. You gotta do something good, man. You gotta, come on. But it's normal for me. It's like, he had great ideas. He did awesome thing. Then he had cocaine-based idea, like making a, emaciated metro system and call it the tunnel or like boring company. And I'm like, it's metro that is on cocaine. It's bad. But again, people fell for it. So I can't, I'm like, maybe that's good if that was the whole point of, like, burning public money away. And yeah, but again, it's normal for me. I was like, oh, he had great ideas. He had bad ideas. He's a human. Ta-da! So I can do the same thing with Donald Trump, where he's like, Donald Trump understands, basically tariffs. Like, no, he does not understand. No, he is the only one who understands tariff because A, he's old, meaning he has seen enough time where he understood USA used to make everything, and then in 1992, Motorola went to China, and then the end. So all this thing, America literally went from Cold War America, which was like, I got this, I am everything, to like, yeah, can you please make chips for us? Like, how the heck that happened? So that whole thing is like, he knows that, like, I know, okay, tariff will increase the price. Yeah, because he lived through a world where there were no cheap goods, but there were quality jobs. So he knows that like cheap goods does not matter as long as you have jobs. So he's creating chaos on that. So in business terms, he understands what he's dealing with. Now again, would the results would be good? Time will tell, not you and me, but he knows what he's doing. Now, does that mean he knows everything I have observed? Hell no. When he talks about war, I'm like, bruh, like, what are you on, man? Like, I'm not even joking with those who used to watch my live stream. I've said it from day one. Like when he was saying, oh, I'm gonna end Russia-Ukraine war in one day. I'm like, bruh, nah. But again, that's for me normal. But so many people are like so hell-bent, like either it's all good or all bad. That's not how humanity works. Please get it through your thick skull. That's the most critical part. So fundamentally, and I'm gonna say some ominous things, brighter the light, darker the shadow. So basically, in fundamentally sense, like children, today's world, they need it, is that toleration is better than high stress. It's like either you can choose high stress, which has no value, you're gonna have a miserable life, or toleration is like, this is how people are. And again, if you start to leech good things, you will learn far more. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. You start to take good things from anyone. Heck, the one art director I used to dislike fundamentally, and again, I also learned something from him. Life had to bitch slap me so I can learn. Learning is far more important, and learning from whatever else is priority. So filter, people need to build filter. You cannot have the luxury of something as this complex as this and be like, oh no, black or white. No. Now, all these things shows the point that we are dealing in a complex timeline. Things are changing, things are rapid, and then we come to the stale point. And the stale point is too many things changed in 50 years. Like that's the reality of it. Heck, for Indians, it changed rapidly. Like how rapidly? Let me give you my perspective, how I saw it. I was born in 1993 and landlines were a rare thing. Yes, India got landline very late. Like Mumbai and capital places used to have it, but it was like very rare. Like middle of nowhere is like there was no telephone exchange. Very rare, took its sweet time. But we got landline. Okay, and it was big deal. It was so big deal, we only had 4 digits in our phone number, and then slowly fifth and sixth digit was added. So I saw all of that digitization, and then we got DSL connection, ADSL connection in my home, 2 megabytes internet speed. Now I have 5G. All that 50 years is too much. That happened less than 30 years. So fundamentally, we went from no mobile phone to 5G inside a human lifespan, meaning a child is alive right now who was born in a time where radio was not a thing that you can just carry in your pocket to like, yeah, we got 5G. He would be a bit old, but he'll like, we got this, we good, we got this. So fundamentally, that happened inside one lifespan, one life freaking span, 90 years. And no computers, like computers weren't a thing, to AI, all of that happened in the same time frame. Let that be very clear. We went from barely able to communicate from one to another, basically relying on post and relying, I'm not even joking. When I was in hostel, I used to write letters. Phone calls were not that normal thing. Like, that's how old I am. So, and again, let that be clear. It was a thing in US and all that play, but India took its time. So, fundamentally, no computer to AI, that happened rapidly. And same happened with flight. Like Wright brothers' first flight was not that long ago, and Airbus A380 is being retired. I'm like, what the hell? How the heck? So all of that is like there are people alive who flew in Concorde and who can flew in the same time in Airbus A380. It's like, damn. Heck, our lifespan has reached such a point that airlines now have a directive that if somebody comes to aeroplane and that is above the age of 100, do not let them pass. That happened. And fundamentally, and if I look into internet is so recent, so quick. It's like my oldest video is 13 years, and from internet slang point of view, I am beyond ancient. Like somebody found me in a graveyard. That's how ancient I am. don't look for that video. So fundamentally, it's too fast. It expanded too fast, and it's 20 years, blink of an eye, from basically nothing to everybody having a black box. Like, that's rapid, too goddamn fast. And all that, what did not change? Schools literally remained exactly the same, and on top of that, they do not even have plans to change. It's like, yeah, we created a system of 1950s when we wanted to make workers. And again, let that be clear, that's how it started, but people did had some wisdom. It's like, this can be a good foundation, and they wanted to have better education. And the idea was, at that point in time, optimistic one, is that we're gonna have the schools. Most people were gonna be worker people. The same philosophy, and which again is realistic. Whether it's brutal or not, that's up to you, but it is reality, is that most people are not Einstein. So the idea was that your school will gonna give you good enough education where you can become workers, so you can take care of your family. And those who are really good, they're gonna graduate to college, university, and all that. So best of the best is gonna climb upwards. Not everybody do that, because again, that will defeat the purpose and it will be pointless, aka job crisis. So that was the whole idea. So everybody gets a base level, everybody becomes basically competent, and then those who are good grow up. And that was the hopeful idea of it. And again, that's why it has a schedule, that's why it has uniform, all that. Cool, awesome, GG. World has changed, man. And schools, nah, why will change? Like, nothing. The only thing that is changing in school is basically parents' anger, because the fees are going. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, thankfully I have given off on life, and I have no wife, no children. But like, holy damn, God help you if you have a child right now in Indian schools. It's like, holy damn, the fees is stupid. Like, it is bad. Like, and again, in India it's illegal to have homeschooling. I'm like, bruh, I'm shifting to USA. If I had a child, it would be cheaper. Not even joking. So fundamentally, like, price of school is going up yearly. And it's like, you are not changing anything. You are not even trying to. It's not even like a concept in schools where it's like, no, every year we're going to change it. We're going to keep phasing out history, because history is constant for thousands of years and it's changing rapidly. Like, we need to know about Facebook more than we need to know about who used to rule this place in thousands of years ago. That's not important. But who made Facebook? What was the intent of it? How it's affecting our high blood pressure? That is far more important. Understanding temporalism, so we can understand how, this sort of things, basically compound interest destroys us. So fundamentally, like, just pumping up the price, and again, you will like inflation. No, it's going exponentially more than inflation. So it is not stable for whole civilization. Basically, for whole planet, this will not work. Like, just no. Like, I would have thought by now, given how much they are charging, every school will have a dedicated section for maker section. Because again, that's what has changed. Tools, technology has changed. So children need to touch that. They do not need to touch books same scale as they need to touch technology. Why? Because technology changed. Books remain the same. Technology allowed you to go to space. They need to, like, books led to technology. This time technology was being under construction. It is constructed. They need to see it. So fundamentally, no changes. Like, the whole fact that schools are like, increase the price, increase the price. That is really, really horrifying. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That is dangerous. Like, that means we are giving tools to our children that they have no way of handling correctly, because again, we did not train them. So this is not good. This is the reason why fundamentally, on a fundamental core level, we don't have the right elements onto it, and we are not even adapting. So it's not even like, oh, this year batch we could have done better. No. It's like, yeah, good luck. So this was my presentation on basically why the modern education system has failed completely. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike. Press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment, because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free. And as always, thanks for watching.